I'm Craft Mechanic, and I'm here to answer some questions about the Serial Designation N cosplay I made for Halloween. Let's start off with the first question. How did you do the eyes? So I actually debated on how I wanted to do the eyes for quite a while, because there were a couple of different routes I could take. I could take with something electronic, like what I finally decided on was something that glows, because that's something I hadn't really seen anyone else do, because before I even started to design or build anything, I looked around the internet, tried to see what other people had done first. And one thing I had seen is that no one else had done a cosplay with the glowing eyes. It's always just been like paper cutouts, or it's been done with artist tools and post. So I wanted to make mine stand out a bit with the glowing eyes and make it closer to the real deal. So in order to make the eyes glow, I could either go with like a full face covering mask where I could put an entire design on it, or I could go with a visor that looked like super like cyberpunk futuristic, or I could go with, where are they? They're right over here. These are little LED glasses. They don't fit too well on my face, but they do the job. And they were actually the cheapest option for anything that lights up, which was nice, but they also came in at about $18, which is, I think, probably the single most expensive item for this entire costume. The rest were all little props and pieces and stuff I either found around the house or just found online for pretty cheap. Another big thing I wanted to consider was practicality and use after this, because I didn't want to get a bunch of stuff for the costume that I was just going to use once and then never again. I wanted to get things that I could use again for a future purpose. So like these, I could wear at some party or something, I don't know. Another question I got, what are the glasses called? These were, the brand name for these was Shang-Chi. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Either way, it is linked down in my general design planning document that is in the same Google Drive folder as the CAD files that I've posted. So you can find those all in the same place, links, everything. It's all there. How do you see through the glasses? So despite how it looks, it is actually fairly easy to see through these. Basically, when these are real close to your eyes, you cannot even see that there are little bars or slits there at all. So the thing is, it almost wasn't easy to see out of these because, as you might have seen, these are, oh, wonderful, battery's almost dead. But as you can see, these are white LEDs, not yellow. I thought, you know what? I can just, I'll get the white ones and I can design like a yellow color filter or something. I can find a piece of yellow plastic to put over those and I'll be able to see through it. So I couldn't find any yellow plastic. The closest thing I had to transparent yellow was a bunch of butterscotch candy wrappers. So this would have gone over the front of the glasses. And as you can see, or as you probably can't see, you cannot see through this. I mean, it does shift the color to yellow, barely, and it looks awful, and you cannot see through it. So, no, that was supposed to go over my shoulder. So, I just stuck with white. I think it looked alright in the final. It doesn't have to be yellow. If I'd gone with the yellow covering, it just would have looked worse, honestly. Can you control the eyes, or is it in a set loop? So, yes and no to this one. The way the glasses are controlled is through an app on your phone, and it's bare bones. It does what it needs to do. I can choose either images that are that come preset with the glasses, or I can choose they made some animations that come prepackaged in too, so those are fun. But you can also make your own, and that's what I went with. I made a couple of different expressions to show, some of these lining up with N's introduction from the pilot. There is no way to automate these within the app. So what I had to do was download a program onto my computer to control my phone from my computer, and then write a script in AutoHotkey to select somewhere on the screen with the right time with however many milliseconds of delay. It took like an hour to get all dialed in, but the end result was pretty good, and I'll show that off soon, either in this recording or in a separate video. That's all the questions about the glasses that I got. So moving on. Next up is the headband. Where did you get the headband from? All right, so I actually made it myself. I wasn't planning on this. Originally, I was going to just try and find one online that I could just modify a little bit, but it was cheaper to make myself, and I had a bit more control over it. So originally, I made a mock-up. I'll throw a picture up on screen of what it looked like. It was just foam board cut in some specific ways over an old headband my mom gave me. But yeah, that was the first design, and from then I added these dollar store string of LEDs on top, and the original plan was, for like the light domes, I had this plastic, clear plastic ornament that I'm like, you know what, I'm going to cut sections off of this that are dome shaped and I can glue those over top. No. No, I destroyed an X-Acto knife blade, and I never even cut all the way through the ornament because it took an hour, and it was just, I don't know, I guess the plastic was too thick. So I had to change gears a bit and decided, you know what? I have an idea. So yeah, here is the first design of the headband, the first prototype right here. So as you can see, these are sections of a grocery bag I cut into little circles and put little bits of, remember the butterscotch wrappers from earlier? Yeah. So I put the little sections of wrapper underneath and covered that with sections of grocery bag, poked holes in the back so I could stick the lights through, and it worked. It looked all right. It looked decent for first prototype. So I went forward with that design, and I cut the final out of some craft foam, and the stiffening part of the headband was cut out of black coat hanger, bent into the shape of my head, roughly. And this is the final design of the headband. It looks better in the dark, trust me. So I have this battery box that was, I had to like shove down past my mask down into my collar, like right here. And I had this, over the top of my head. And it doesn't like to stick at all. So that was always a rough time getting it to stay in place. And getting the bits of coat hanger to stay and stick to the foam itself. Oh my gosh, that was a process. It broke away so many times. There is so much hot glue here and electrical tape used to hold it down. Oh, speaking of electrical tape, that is also how I made the outlines for the circles where the bag goes. I think that's all I have to say about the headband. Let me check if anyone else had questions about it. What's next? Okay, a lot of questions about the tail, and that's understandable. That definitely took the longest to make and tweak and design, and oh, it was a process, let me tell you. How much time did it take to make the tail? So, between designing, prototyping, teardowns, redesigning, like going through all of these design iterations, even just the part of the tail itself, like the, not the syringe, but the supporting part, that took so long. I want to say that part alone. Here, let me grab it. I have it right over here. I can show you. It's a little bent out of shape because it's been in my closet for however long. But just this part of the tail here that goes from the bottom of the harness down to the vial at the end, I would say that took about... Okay, traffic's done. I want to say 6 hours of work just for this. Maybe, no, probably closer to 3. Because I had to bend and twist and cut wire coat hangers, of all things. And originally the design was 4 coat hangers thick, and there was a section in the middle that this mesh covering on the outside could not pass over. So I had to cut it back to just 2 coat hangers thick. And that worked pretty well, honestly. It's pretty light, it's pretty stiff, resilient. It was a good amount. But hey, this is a good time for me to show you that this is just coat hanger twisted together around and around and around itself over and over and over. And it worked. And in order to get the tail to stay up, it's hard to see when I'm in costume because of the white wall I took the picture against back there. But this is dental floss that I used to support the tail. I used just a bit of dental floss, and since I didn't have fishing line, that was my original plan, fishing line. But I'm like, I don't want to go out and get a spool of fishing line that I know I'm only going to use a foot of, and no one I know has fishing line. What can I use? Dental floss. It's thin, it's strong, and it did the job. What else did I want to go over? Is how I made the harness. So I'm going to throw a couple of pictures up on screen of the design process I went through, the iterations. And I finally ended up with, I'm just going to grab the microphone. It'll be easier so I can walk and talk. All right, so this is the overall structure I have for the wire support frame for the tail. And as you can see, the tail really doesn't like to stay still. It is quite unstable. I will show off maybe a video later of me in full costume trying to do N's introduction, glasses and all, with the software I told you about and connecting my phone. But hey, let me just show you what it looks like for me to wear this. Hang on a moment. All right, so as you can probably see, that was a bit of a process to get on, and still it is just hanging really low and just generally doesn't look that good, and it's flopping all over the place, and it's just being a problem. Luckily, with the jacket I use, the collar brings the height of the tail way up, so it's not in the center of my back, and it's closer to, I want to say up here. So you can see it hangs a bit higher up, and this is the cord of the microphone. Don't get that confused with part of the tail. I'll try and keep them separated. But yeah, this definitely took the longest to get figured out, and it was not easy. Let me tell you that. It was definitely not easy at all to get this all sorted out. And the way it rests, it goes just under the bottom of where the jacket ends, and I have to, in order to put the tail on with the jacket, I have to like thread the jacket through the gap in the tail. It's hard to see because laptop camera. I'll try and back up a bit. No, I still can't even show the full thing. Whatever. It's a process, just believe me on that, and it is still, tail is still going everywhere and being a problem. It liked to come to rest where it is now, over my right shoulder. I don't like that, but whatever. That's what it did. And that's what it did for most of the time when I wore the costume. Let's see what's next. How did you make the tail stand? So, like I said, dental floss. It works a treat, surprisingly. Let's see what else. I think it would be better if the syringe glowed. Yes, that was actually one of my original design ideas, was to make the yellow part of the syringe glow with either having a light in it or something, or to have it be something shifted, and it did not feel good. Oh, it's because it's lifted way off my back, that's why. So yeah, one of the original design ideas I had was to make the yellow vial part of the syringe glow with either an LED or glow sticks. I've got glow sticks in the box of props. That was one of my ideas. But I never got around to doing it, ran out of time, ran out of ideas, and this whole assembly is so flimsy it can't really support much else other than just the tail itself, which I would say weighs, I don't know, half a pound, maybe less, quarter. It's light. It's very light. I haven't weighed it, but it's literally just foam and paper and a little bit of hot glue. And a bit of coat hanger to stiffen it and also to make it very, very sharp. That was not on purpose. That was the way it's cut, but it adds to the fact that this is pointy. How did you make the venom tube and how is it connected to the tail? So I could honestly make a whole video. Let me take this thing off. Hang on. So honestly, I could make an entire video going over my design process and design choices for this, but it's really just how it's connected is through a bunch of hot glue. You can't see it from this side. There we go. Look at how ugly that connection is. There is so much hot glue there, and that's just to keep it from falling off, because it's fallen off at least 3 times. And I just add more glue each time to hold it in place. And it seems to be holding now, but I don't know. It's going to do that in the future. Anyways, this little section right here is more coat hanger and mesh covering. This section, this long section right here, all of this black part right here, this is all just foam, just craft foam that I cut out very delicately. Same with these end caps. These are just sections of craft foam that I measured and cut and then covered with electrical tape to make it look a bit cleaner. Same with this end. What else? I hot glued it to this sheet of, I think it's like vinyl paper, some type of material like that. And this is, I forget what diameter it is exactly. I think it's 3 inches in diameter. And then doing all the calculations for these end caps here for how long the strips on the outside need to be to cover that. And I actually calculated it wrong at first because it's not the inside of the diameter that is right. It's the outside diameter of this, which adds another 1/2 inch. It's because it stretches or something. I don't know. I'm not the best at explaining things. But yeah, and I stiffened this whole thing along here with a section of black wire coat hanger because otherwise it was so flimsy, I thought it would have just torn right off if I caught it on anything. Here, let me grab my previous designs of this. I'll be right back. All right, so actually, before we move on to the old designs, I have old designs of the tail. This is the plastic ornament I tried to cut that I spent 2 hours trying to cut this flap of plastic off. And as you can probably see, it was a struggle. And I eventually decided, you know what? Heat can fix this. If I heat it up, the plastic will become malleable. So I blasted it with a hairdryer and the whole thing warped. So this became unusable. Anyways, back to the tail, back to the previous designs. I couldn't find my first design anywhere, but I did find my very first sketch for how I wanted everything to look. It was a rough sketch because I could not draw like compound curves that the computer can. So I drew everything in mostly straight lines. And I'll scan this in and put it up on screen, but this is it. Yeah, you can't see the lines at all. That's pretty terrible. Anyways, this is on cardstock, so it's a bit stiffer than normal printer paper. But this was just the rough sketch design that I drew up one night, and it took me about 2 hours, 2.5. And from that, oh gosh, this is bent. Oh no. Anyways, this was the first design of the tail of the vial. As you can see, it's not quite on straight. But that's just because of the way I fix things. This is cut out a poster board from the my first CAD design, actually. So this is shorter than the final by a couple inches, I think, at least an inch. I lengthened the final to make it look a bit better, but yeah, just poster board, cardstock for the tube, and masking tape to hold it all together. This was the first real design that I had. How much time did it take? How much time did it take to make the tail? I never fully answered that. How much time would it take to make the tail, and can you teach us? I would love to go on a step-by-step design breakdown. Unfortunately, I do not have time for that in this video. I'm sorry, but I will hopefully get that to you soon, TM. So within a month, maybe? Hopefully. How did you make the tail, and can you make a whole video showing it? I can make an entire video. That'll be what the next one is, when I show you how I made it in depth with all the stuff, because I do not have time to show that now. Sorry. Oh, that's right. How long did it take to make the tail? So in total, from first design to final, sitting in my closet over there that I showed, I would say that is roughly 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours of design, working, prototyping. It took a while, but it was spread out across months, so not too bad. How much did it cost to make? So I answered this one already to whoever asked, but I don't think my numbers are right, because I only factored in what I could remember then and there. So I will do a full calculation of everything, and I will throw the cost up on screen now, and it's probably going to be a lot more than I thought it was originally. So yeah, that's how much it cost me to make it. I bought a lot of materials that I only used little bits of, like electrical tape. I know I'm going to use it in the future, but I have an entire roll of electrical tape now that I only used a little bit of. But this is going to last me a long time, and I know I'm going to use it. That's how I justified spending, I think, what was it, $2 on this roll of electrical tape. And this duct tape that I used for all of the accents, like on the sleeves and around the legs and on the shoes. Oh my gosh, the shoes. Okay, so I left the duct tape on the shoes because I'm like, oh, I'm going to leave it on there until I make the video. No, it took me too long to get to it. And I'm like, it's been a week. I've been going to classes with striped duct tape on my shoes. This needs to go. So I took all the duct tape off, and oh my gosh, it tore off small chunks of the rubber on my shoes. It's not bad by any means, but it is not good. So if you do this, I suggest not duct tape, or make it less sticky somehow. If you value your shoes, don't do this to them. That's my advice. Oh, and also, you might be wondering, why did I put the duct tape on the cuffs of the sleeve and not do the arm thing? Because, N's sleeves are rolled up to slightly before his elbow, slightly around there. So I physically cannot roll the sleeves on that coat up past here, which is, it's not that far. And, I did the math, and my elbow doesn't come down to, an inch in diameter like his does. So I couldn't think of any solutions, and I didn't want to just go with a paper tube because, I don't know, it fits the look, but I didn't want to go with that look. I wanted to go how he looks with the conical forearm. And I couldn't think of a way to do that in time. I have little CAD drawings and stuff. I think it might be in the folder. It might not be. Who knows? Maybe if I go to a convention, or maybe even next Halloween, if I decide to do this again, you'll see the new and improved version with the forearms and the lights in the tail and whatnot. You never know. How did it feel? Emotionally or physically? Because emotionally, I felt great. It was so much fun to dress up as the little biscuit boy himself, as someone called him in the comments. It was a lot of fun. I will say that. Making it was fun. I really enjoy making things. I almost wanted to be a mechanical engineer. I took every engineering class our high school offered. So this stuff was right up my alley. I love making things, but I just don't get the chance to do it all that often. So whenever I could, it was such a fun process to go through. It's not for everyone, but for me, this was. It made me feel good. I liked the whole process of building it. There were frustrating points, for sure. Oh my gosh, the whole thing with the ornament, that was pushing me to my limits, but it was still fun. At the end of it all, it was a lot of fun, and I would do it again. And I'm going to continue working on the costume, maybe. How did it feel physically? Like an oven. Who would have guessed that wearing a t-shirt and a huge winter overcoat, 3 layers of pants, 2 masks, glasses, a wig cap, a wig, and a hat? Man, who would have guessed that would have not been suitable for inside temperatures? I didn't. I didn't think of that until I put on the costume for the first time to test everything out. And within half an hour, I was roasting alive. It was not a great experience physically to wear it. And that I went to a party at a friend's house, and as the night went on, bits of the costume started falling apart, like the harness, the part that went around the shoulders, the tape securing it separated, and it started poking me in my arm, and it was just, it felt awful, and eventually both shoulder harnesses snapped off, and it was just barely hanging on. Oh man, it was a bit of a disaster, but would I wear it again for a convention or for next Halloween? Absolutely. It's just fun. I like doing this sort of stuff. I've never been to any conventions before, never done any cosplaying. This is actually my first time putting a lot of real effort into a costume. Before it was just like, here's a tattered old jacket, here's some old pair of dusty, crusty, ripped jeans, found this dollar store hockey mask, I'll do Halloween as Jason. That was the most effort that I put in before for a costume. Or no, that's a lie. How could I forget the engineer? I'll throw up a picture, a video of that on screen. That was a fun one. I did that 2 years in a row, and I decided I did not want to do that for a third year. So, N. Went with him. So yeah, how did it feel physically? Hot. Like temperature-wise. Don't get that wrong. It was quite warm, quite unpleasant. Things kept falling off over the course of the night. Walking across campus to my friend's place, it was raining that night, so I had my umbrella, and the only reason my hat was still staying on, actually you can see the hat in the back there, let me go grab it. So yeah, there we go. The only reason the hat was still staying on is because I had my umbrella and I was pushing it down on top of my head so it wouldn't fall off. The headband was held in place by this massive anchor of 2 AA batteries holding it in case it fell off my head, because this part is pretty light, and this is about twice the weight of the entire, maybe 3 times the weight of the entire headband. Yeah, it was an experience. It was quite the experience. How do you eat/drink in the costume. So I didn't consider this until I was already at my friend's place when I needed a sip of water. So I had to pull down the mask. Well, no, I had to pull down the gaiter I had, and then pull down the mask, and then I had to be careful not to get anything on the jacket. So yeah, I didn't actually consider that until it was time to consume. How long did it take to build? I think, oh no, I only said how long it took to build the tail. In total, the entire costume, between planning, designing, all that, I want to say at least 30 hours, spread out across 2 months, 2.5 months, 2.5 months. I want to say about 30 to 40 hours. It was because I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to do a half-baked job. I wanted to do it once and do it right. And I think I accomplished that. Did you make the costume all by yourself? Yeah, I did not get help from, well, I did not get any physical help from anyone else. It was just me. And I definitely got a lot of online help from inspiration and seeking out what other people had done for the various characters. Like, there is someone online who does like mock-ups. Like they'll dress up in all the clothes, and then they'll do like the eyes and mouth and stuff, and like all the coloring and stuff afterwards to make it really look right. There was someone else who did an N cosplay like ages ago, and I'll show that on screen. There was Clyde, I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm sorry, but they made an N cosplay, and that was what I mostly based it on. I wanted to I took design inspiration from all of the different ones I've seen. I just tried to take design inspirations from all of those and see where it took me. One thing I did not want to do, however, was the armband, because it has certain historical connotations that are not good, to say the least. So if you didn't know who N is, or if you'd never seen a picture, you see a kid walking around in this type of hat with an overcoat from a military overcoat. It's my grandfather's when he was in the Navy, and an armband with an insignia on it. They're not going to get the right idea, and I didn't want to chance that, so no armband. I completely forgot what I was saying. Did you have any help? No, I did not. I did not have any physical help from friends or family or whatever. It was all me. I built the whole thing myself. Will you switch from cosplayer to VTuber at some point? Joke's on you. I already have. I tried that out a couple months ago, and I mean, it kind of looks like me. The software is kind of janky because, it's trying its best. But I did it on stream a couple times until I can get an actual model that I make myself. Or I don't think I'm ever going to do it like all the time. And if you look on my channel, the last video I uploaded was I want to say about a year ago. I think. It's been a while. I do not do a whole lot of gameplay or anything anymore. Maybe I should. Maybe I should get back into that. What else? I think your N plush is a bootleg. Yeah, so this little guy was in the background of not all of, but a lot of my pictures for the costume. And this is actually a birthday gift from my roommate, so he's This is my favorite. He knew that I was a fan of the show. Like, big fan. Like, poster, a signed poster. And I do have the actual plushies as well. They're, funny enough, they're right behind my computer. They sit on the little windowsill. So I've got both N and V. Ah, oh no, I dropped V. So I got these two sitting right behind, right on my windowsill behind my computer. That's just where they stay. So I do have the real plushies, but the fake one has more sentimental value. All right. So what else have we got? You go back on the bed. Are you excited for episode 2? Yes, I am. I am very excited to see episode 2. I'm a little sad that I saw the target audience age decreased around the 10 million views on the pilot mark. Originally it was 18 to 24 and they dropped it to 13 to 24, so who knows, maybe the hopefully they didn't sanitize it to make it kid friendly, because I don't know, I don't know how to explain it. It was, I hope they don't get rid of the whole thing with V blowing bubbles. I saw that and I was just, because I don't want her to become the comic relief character. I don't want them to just have funny moments for the kids that were put in by the writer that are so out of character. I don't know how to feel. I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for it, and I appreciate like all of the hard work that the Glitch team have put into it. It's making an animated show is difficult, and I say that as someone who knows absolutely nothing about making an animated show. But it just doesn't look like it has the same polish as the pilot episode. I don't know. I'm conflicted, but I'm excited. I'm glad that it's actually happening after a whole year. Anyway, I think that was all of the major questions that I saw, all the big ones. But yeah, that was my design process for the costume. I have linked in the description of this video the link to my Google Drive folder with all my CAD documents and my original planning document. A copy of it with some names and places removed, because I do not want to dox myself. You know how it is. But yeah, that's it. That's the video going over all my design choices. So yeah, there we go. I will hopefully soon post more videos of the glasses or any other changes I decide to make to it. I'll keep you updated. Till then, I'll see you around.